Hey everybody, MGB back with you. We're going to be talking week 9, where my advice was and everything, which was another good week. I know some of you who comment a lot didn't listen to me on a few things and think you regretted it. So anyway, let's start with the top. I had told you to start. Oh, first let's talk about this. I came in to the day with my picks at 42 wins, 14 losses, and 10 draws after grading myself on the advice I give you. So let's add to that. Alright, first I told you in Denver, I told you a couple quarterbacks actually. In Denver, I said start both quarterbacks, the Denver game, Denver and Oakland. Start Tim Tebow, and I know everyone's like, oh my god, Tebow was horrible the week before, but you know, he still got you nearly 15 points in his supposed shitty week. So this week I knew he was going to bounce back. I figured, in fact, I predicted he'd have at least 100 yards rushing. 117, I believe, is what he ended with. First one of his career. I said about 200 yards, and it was about 130, I believe, but he had 2 touchdowns. I thought he'd have a touchdown and a pick, something like that, but still score you over 20 points. Well, he got you 27 in your league, so I hope you started Tebow. I said don't be afraid to start Carson Palmer. Don't let his debut in Oakland scare you. In fact, before that, I said give Carson Palmer a pass on whatever his first playtime in Oakland was, which was before their bye, which he sucked. But whatever, it was backyard football. He didn't know the plays. I said start him. He got you 30 points. I think he was ranked number 2 on the quarterbacks for the week. So I hope you started him too. I got a couple of wins there in Denver, or in Oakland with the Oakland-Denver game. I want to mention too, I'm ranking, this week I did quarterbacks, running backs, where I thought they were going to finish on my website, which is mgbfantasysports.tripod.com. You go homepage, there's a link to rankings. Check it out. I did where I predicted and then where they actually finished. So go check that out. That'll be up for another day or two before I put up next week's rankings for things. Okay, I told you to start Matt Castle. I thought it was going to be much bigger than that. He still got you 15 points, which isn't bad if you were if you had somebody on bye or horrible matchup with your other quarterback, or if you had like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who I told you to sit, which good thing you did. Stop it, phone. So yeah, I hope you if you needed to, you started Castle. If you had one of your studs, obviously you start your stud. This is just bye week and flex position help. So he did okay. I thought in Miami it was going to be a shellacking, but on the other side, Kansas City over Miami, I did not see that Miami team coming at all. I told you to start Brandon Lloyd. 5 receptions, 80 yards. If you started him in your number 2, your flex, you were good to go. I told you to start Atlanta's defense, and they did. They got you 13 to 15 points, depending on what your league scores, for interceptions and fumbles and whatnot, and for points scored. And you know what? It should have been more because the defense pitched a shutout. The problem is when Matt Ryan threw that pick 6, the 6 points doesn't go against the defense, but because it's defense special teams, the extra point, the 1 point that the defense supposedly gave up was the extra point, and it knocked him down 3 or 4 points for not pitching a shutout. So they kind of got robbed on points there. Okay, so all wins so far. Here's where I lost. I thought if Beanie Wells was healthy and was going to play against St. Louis, I actually thought St. Louis was going to win, but I thought Beanie Wells would have 100 yards, 3-4 catches, a touchdown or 2, and he kind of sucked it. Got you 5 points. Big fat loss for me there. Not sure what happened. So I told you to sit Ryan Fitzpatrick. Up into halftime, dude, he even had you negative points if your league does negative points. Man, it was pretty ugly. At the end, you got a little bit of garbage points, maybe 10 points. So it wasn't a total loss, but if you had anybody better, even Matt Castle, got you more points. I told you to sit Chris Johnson, and you know what? Here's the thing. I've been expecting finally Chris Johnson to bust out here at some point. I thought it'd be last week against Indianapolis. It wasn't. So I've been kind of hoping for him, and I've actually put out some trades to buy him low from guys in a couple of my leagues, and I've gotten him in two of my leagues for ridiculously low prices. So I think this is the time, though. He showed some life against Cincinnati, and especially in the passing game, he caught 4 passes, which was really nice to see. And a couple of runs of 20+ yards, man. So I give myself a draw on that because he didn't do great, but it's time to starting Chris Johnson and actually kind of relying on him a little bit because he's going to start doing well and actually producing some. You heard it here. All right, I told you to sit San Diego's defense. Obviously, they gave up 458 trillion points. They almost came back and won that freaking game, but they didn't. Nice to see Rivers showing signs of life. I'm going to talk about him in my starting section here in a little bit. Okay, so I had 8 wins, 1 loss on Wells, and a draw. I'm sitting at 50 wins, 15 losses, and 11 draws, and that's on advice where I'm not telling you the easy shit. I'm not telling you to start Aaron Rodgers. Of course he's going to be a stud. I'm not. It irritates me at the other when even on NFL Live, all this stuff, they fancy guys. Oh, I like Aaron Rodgers this week. Well, no shit, you like Aaron Rodgers this week. If you could break his leg, and I'd still like him that week. Okay, so portion 1 done. Quick starts. We have a full slate of games, which is amazing. So you're not really going to need a whole lot of pickup help. Everyone's free to play. So I'm gonna tell you guys that maybe if you have 2 quarterbacks, who you should start, who you should sit, and it's mostly quarterbacks and defenses this week because running backs, man. If you've got, you know who your top 2 running backs are. Your flex position, you know what I mean. It's if you need help with individual matchups or whatever, man, post them here. You see myself, you see Eagles Champ replying. Dude, GL NY9 replying. Dude, well, I'll help you out. So I want some guys that, like, if you have bad matchups with your starting quarterbacks, like if you have anyway, certain guys. Here's who I really like this week. Obviously Phillip Rivers is a stud. He showed signs of life. They're playing Oakland this week, and Oakland, their defense is not very good. So I'm predicting another 30+ point game. So if you have Phillip Rivers and, say, I don't know, God, who else, you draft someone probably lower, even Eli Manning, whatever. I think Phillip Rivers is going to be a top 3 passer again this week. I think he was 2nd last week, and I had him ranked at 3rd for this past week, and he ended up being 2nd, behind who, Aaron Rodgers. So I think he's a good 30+ point candidate again this week. And you're gonna think I'm crazy, but Sam Bradford. They're playing Cleveland. He hasn't been finding the end zone, but he's been throwing for 250+ every game that he's in, provided he's back in a walking boot this week. They say it's just precautionary. He's still starting, and we shouldn't worry, but you never know. So if he starts, Sam Bradford's a good 25-point+ guy. He's gonna find his dudes haven't been finding the end zone. How can you throw for 330-some yards in a game and not find the damn end zone? It's gonna happen this week. Brandon Lloyd's going to find the end zone. Steven Jackson probably is on off-screen passes because Steven Jackson is a freaking stud. So this is the week Sam Bradford's gets you a couple of scores. Probably no picks. So yeah, Josh Freeman I like. He's a good 20-25 point plus guy. If you're got other guys that have bad matchups. I think Christian Ponder against Green Bay. We saw they're soft, man. Especially if Percy Harvin's good to go. We're gonna see some fireworks with Minnesota Green Bay, and obviously all your studs. Here's some defenses to start that maybe you wouldn't think. Start Washington and against Miami. Don't be fooled. Here's one thing in Fantasyland. I think everybody goes off like a guy has a great day. Look at Torrey Smith, man. He had 1 3-touchdown day, and everybody's like, he went from being owned in 0% of leagues to 90% of leagues. That's obviously a exaggeration, but because of one day. Well, don't be fooled, man, and don't just jump on these trains after one performance. Look at Ryan Terrain. I've been saying it. And so I think don't jump on the Miami bandwagon. Yes, they blew out KC. Not going to do it to Washington. Washington's defense is better, and it's gonna hold them. Washington's gonna have a good day. I think Matt Moore's gonna come down off that 3-touchdown day with like a 3-interception day. Start St. Louis, and you may think I'm nuts, but one thing St. Louis does is they sack the damn quarterback. Start Buffalo's defense. They intercept the ball a lot, which leads me to sitting Tony Romo if you can. Tony Romo is going to be relying on DeMarco Murray, which he should. Buffalo's not as bad against the pass and quarterbacks as you think. They've picked off 15 passes, returned 3 for touchdowns so far this year. Start them. Start Buffalo's defense and sit Tony Romo if you can. Maybe 200 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Sit LeGarrette Blount today or this week against Houston. Houston's pretty good against the run, and I think it's going to end up being a shootout a little bit. So I don't think LeGarrette Blount's going to get you even double-digit points. All right, so that's it for this week. Look, got something to say, hit me up, check out the website. So until next week, and the best advice you're going to get.